Noted director and liberal polemicist Michael Moore recently tweeted, "No women ever invented an atomic bomb, built a smokestack, initiated a Holocaust, melted the polar ice caps, or organized a school shooting." This was presumably a call for people to vote for Hillary Clinton in the US presidential race. Regardless of who you vote for, though, Moore's tweet is an ignorant, embarrassing, easily debunked, and actually quite dangerous bit of misinformation. To start off, let's get right to the debunking because every word of this tweet is wrong by some degree or another. For instance, inventing the atomic bomb. Like women in science in general, the handful of women who worked on the atomic bomb have gone largely ignored by history, but they were there. Like Dr. Elizabeth Riddle Graves, aka Diz, a nuclear physicist who happened to help test the very first atomic device while she was 7 months pregnant. Super badass. And she was supposedly performing experiments right up until she went into labor. Or when it comes to smokestacks, Mary Walton invented a key component of smokestack emission deflection back in 1879. Does that count? It really depends on how you define the word built, but I'm sure that there are millions more women that you could name that built smokestacks in one way or another, either as workers or as the CEOs of companies that have smokestacks. There was also, when it comes to the Holocaust, there are plenty of women who have been involved in one way or another in Holocaust. For instance, a female Rwandan politician was convicted of genocide by the International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda for her role in the Rwandan genocide of 1994. That's just one example. You could point to many more women throughout history. For instance, Bloody Mary, who was responsible for burning hundreds of Protestants to death. Again, though, it depends on how you define your terms, initiated and Holocaust. You're right that Hitler was a man, though, if that makes Michael Moore feel better. As for melting the polar ice caps, I hate to tell you this, but there are literally billions of women who are doing that right now because the polar ice caps are melting because of global warming, and global warming is caused by humanity, and women make up slightly more than half of humanity. I know you're thinking that Michael Moore probably meant a more active role in melting the polar ice caps. Well, women are now leaders in the industries most responsible for that, like coal and oil. For instance, Occidental CEO Vicky Holub is the first woman to lead an oil company in the United States. Way to crack that glass ceiling, Holub. And by glass ceiling, obviously, I'm referring to the ozone. As for school shootings, I suppose Moore has never heard the Boomtown Rats because they performed an entire song about Brenda Ann Spencer, who shot up a school back in 1979 because she, quote, hated Mondays. Debunking each point of Moore's stupid tweet ultimately misses the forest for the trees, though, because what he is apparently trying to say is that women are inherently more ethical than men, and so having a female leader like Hillary Clinton would by default be better than having any other man in the position of president of the United States, which is complete bullshit. So it's too much for one video. So in my next video, I'm going to talk a little bit about benevolent sexism and why it's bad for everyone.